Happy Friday and happy Memorial Day, and welcome to the 3 Things I Learned in Saas, Sports, Tech, and Live Events. Special edition, how we screwed up our SDR program for a decade plus. Last week we talked about how to be the #1 SDR. We gave advice that we would give to loved ones and friends if they were taking a job to start their sales career. In that, we talked about a lot of ways that you can game the system to get yourself to #1. But we also uncovered a lot of things that create an imbalance in work-life balance and are maybe not the best things for the careers of an SDR. We promised during that when we talk about what we've learned in running SDR programs over the last 20 years, how we've screwed them up, and a couple of ways that you and your business can overcome some of those common mistakes. So let's get to it. This week we have 5 ways, amongst the many, that we screwed up our SDR program over the last decade. Number 1, make sure there's room for everyone to succeed, or don't hire them. Gone are the days of hiring 20 people to keep 10 or hiring 10 people to keep 5. We hear it from everybody. We know that's what a lot of businesses do, and you do need to plan that might be the case, but that's not how you go into your hiring, and we'll talk about that in one of the later points here. Make sure there's room for everyone to succeed. Not a situation where you throw all the crabs in a pot and the one that boils out gets to be the manager. That's too common, and that kills SDRs, and it also costs you some really great talent. This is not sports, where there's parity built into the league or there's a draft. When I started at AEG, we converted a closet into a sales room where we had 5 people. In those 5 people, now one of them is the CEO of a unicorn, and another one is a super agent. When I got to StubHub, we had 8 sales reps at one point. Of those 8, 6 of them, who were all working there at the same time, have since had 7-figure exits as entrepreneurs. And then here at Ticket Manager, we'll talk in a little bit about our super class, which changed our business forever. We've seen people hailed on Twitter recently that they've started as ticket sales reps and moved all their way to president. That's fantastic. That is the goal for everybody. But we need to make sure when we're building our class, and we need to make sure when we're building our program, that we have room for everybody to succeed, to create co-opetition and not competition. That's number 1. Number 2, stop the fight. You see, we're all focused on getting the best SDRs. In order to get the best SDRs, you gotta go through most SDRs. And most SDRs either shouldn't be SDRs or just aren't very good at their job because it's not a good fit or it's not for them. But when we get the best SDRs, they're gonna be lights. They're gonna come and turn them on in the morning, turn them off when they leave. They're gonna work 70-hour work weeks. They're not gonna stop until they're #1. And our job is to make sure they don't do that, because they will have plenty of 5-alarm fires later in their career for your business when they're closing company impacting deals. You see, the best analogy is that of a fighter. That's why we say stop the fight. A fighter trains to be willing to do anything to win the fight, to push themselves further than they thought they could go. But they can only do that when they know that their corner cares about them and their corner is going to have their best interests in mind. That's what we have to have. If you talk to our top producers here, I can assure you the thing they're going to say we tell them the most is go home, because it is. We need to take care of our bests, and we don't want to burn them out at the cost of the most. That's number 2. 3, first impressions do not matter, and your team needs to know it. Back in 2012, we hired what we call the super class. 7 people came in within a 2-month period. A few of them are on the executive team now. All of them have been major contributors to our business. One of them became our #1 salesperson for 3 years. Take a guess who was in last place at the end of the first year. The future #1 rep. He was doing all the right things, working very hard and growing very frustrated, and we were sending him home at 4 and 5 o'clock because he wanted to get on the board and climb his way to the top. We wouldn't let him. We just made sure he was doing the right things and he had that balance. Then at month 13, he finally broke through. Now, most of our reps break through in month 5 and 6. It took him till month 13. Turned out to be our #1 rep. This is a marathon, not a sprint, and it works the other way too. Sometimes SDRs get lucky early, and it's a false positive. You think they might be somebody that's very vital to what you're doing, and then upon later forensic analysis, you see that it was a one-time thing. Make sure that your team knows that the first impression doesn't matter, that they're there for the long haul. We'll touch on that in the next one. Number 4, no turnover from day 120 to day 730. This will radically change your SDR program. You see, we talked earlier about how a lot of people, when they build an SDR program, they'll hire 15 reps to keep 7 or the like, and they know that's going to be the case. And it's not nefarious, but you just subconsciously lower that bar because that's what everybody's incentivized to do. right? Talent's incentivized to put butts in seats. You've got investors coming at you telling you that you need to grow faster, faster, faster. You have all this pressure to get people in, and sometimes that bar starts to drop, something Steve Jobs used to lament. Now, what we've done has been very successful is we've said, okay, from day 0 to 120, we don't know what we have and they don't know what we have. We don't know if this is a fit on either side. So it's okay to have turnover in the first 4 months. And from day 730 on, you're going to get poached. If you're building a great SDR program, people are going to come pay your reps a lot more money than you're paying them, and you're going to have that decision to make and you will lose talent. That's a good thing. It's a good story to tell going forward. But the most expensive rep to lose is the one from day 120 to 730, because that's where they're most expensive for you to train, and they're also starting to really hit their stride. So we make sure the team knows that that's how we're measuring success. Are you turning over between day 120 and 730? And if you put that in place, you're going to have much better recruiting policies and you're going to have a much better team. That's number 4. And number 5, kill the manager. It's our clickbait title. Too many SDR programs are predicated on hiring 20 people and having the 2 winners get promoted to manager level as soon as possible. You don't want to hire sales reps who are trying to get out of selling as soon as possible. Those aren't great sales reps. Also, we need to make sure that the same prestige is given to our top performers as is given to the managers. If we do this, we're going to have better talent. Those are some of the things that we've learned in our 20 years of running SDR programs. I hope you learn from our mistakes. I apologize for the holes in my face this week. Just a reminder again to wear sunblock. And we'll see everybody next week on The 3 Things.